I'm making Khoya. What a color, that is so amazing. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Look at it bubbling, it's like it's a live thing. Just to explain firstly what Khoya actually is. Essentially, Khoya is a product that's made from cooking down milk. Much richer than paneer. It's used as the base of methi in Indian sweets, but it's also used to make this incredible sweet, savoury, very rich sabji that Dad used to make that I loved. On its own, it's already quite sweet. Texturally, it's like somewhere between a fudge and a soft Dutch cheese. It's a bit of a delicacy. You want the masala to show the beauty of the Khoya, which is why it doesn't need too much spice and also doesn't need too much cooking. So we're going to start with the ghee. I can't stop eating it, it's so delicious. I'm going to start with the ghee in the frying pan. So in terms of things to note is that we don't need a lot of ghee or a lot of fats because Khoya has a lot of ghee in it, and that's actually going to cook out. So I don't want it to be too heavy. So it's really just a shy tablespoon of ghee. And we're going to work with the spice. So again, the spice is quite simple. So spicing for Khoya. So a little bit of haldi or turmeric powder, so like 1/3 of a teaspoon. Cumin seed, about a teaspoon. And then some Kashmiri chili. And I'm just going to take it off the heat because that's going to burn. Some coriander powder. Now once that's done, and that's sort of tempered, we're going to add a little bit of water. One, so the spice doesn't burn, and two, so we have a body of liquid to put the Khoya into. So in terms of tradition, Khoya is used a lot at the festive table because it is a really rich dish. It's not something that we'd commonly eat all the time. It's almost dessert-like in its end result of taste and texture, though it does have very strong savoury tones. Shivani was saying apparently it's a little bit of an acquired taste. Obviously, I'm not aware of that because I have the taste for it, but she was saying that she knows a lot of people who find Khoya a bit too much. I almost think it can never be enough. So we're just breaking it up, and you can see like it's really rich. It's very buttery. I can feel it all in my fingers. And now what I'm doing is just I'm taking the pan off the heat because the last thing I want is for this to burn. Instantly you can see that the ghee is running out of the Khoya. What a colour, that is so amazing. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Because it doesn't have a lot of liquid and because it is thick in consistency, if this isn't being stirred constantly, it will absolutely stick and burn. Although it is a quick cook, it is required to be an attentive cook, so you need to pay attention. So we're cooking it until it browns and until some of the ghee in the Khoya has been released, and there's some textural changes as well in the dish. As it starts to stick, you just want to add a little more water. And obviously the temperature's high-ish because we are looking for browning. It almost looks like fondue. I haven't put salt in yet, so I still have to do that. Salt, not too much, at least not to start. 1/2 teaspoon, because it's not going to carry salt that well. The sweetness of Khoya means that you do have to still make room for its natural dairy condensed propensity in the masala bodies. Too much salt and too much pungent spice and you lose the messaging and the dish becomes confused and it ceases to be delicious. Confusing flavour is never delicious. Oh, yum. It's so rich. It's not quite browned enough though. You can see it's starting to, sort of here, the colour's changing. It's getting richer. It's almost looking like an omelette. Because we eat with our eyes as well as with our taste buds, you can even see sort of visually how rich this dish is. See how it's changing. As it gets richer, the salt bakes in, for want of a better expression, and it becomes very cohesive. That's really good. I almost think I want to stop the coloration there. Okay. So peas are going to go in. I don't want to overdo the peas because I want the Khoya to speak louder. You know, a half a cup. Look at it bubbling. It's like it's a live thing. And then water. These peas are already pre-cooked. If they weren't pre-cooked, you would have to take longer at this cooking point. But now we just need to cook it down a little so that the water starts to evaporate and almost that the Khoya recondenses a little bit, because it should be not runny, it should be sort of quite rich and the texture of almost like a thick custard, something you'd have to spoon out, not sip out. And I might use this time to add a little garam masala. So not too much. Oh, it's beautiful. So I think that's Ammi's recipe too. Smells like it. I have the same, I make the same at home. So garam masala as a finishing spice is used to put an aromatic lid onto a dish. The way that the mouth works with flavour, if there's no container for the experience of taste, some of that aroma sort of escapes, like steam escapes from a pot without a lid. But as soon as you put garam masala on, or the lid on, all of the flavour comes back into this part of the mouth and it becomes an intensified experience of taste, which is not always what's sought, but for this dish it is. Okay, here. So this is the methi paratha from earlier. With, I should probably take it out of the pan before I keep eating it, but and it's so delicious. I'm going to stand here and eat. It's beautiful actually because the methi is really fresh and the Khoya is really rich, and it's like they balance each other out. And also I'm really, really hungry. Good. Yum.